This really was a beautiful room to have been in. It's big and it's cheerful, and that tree, I stared at that tree so many hours of the day. You have no idea how many hours I looked out that window at that tree.
18 years ago, Millie Graham had a stroke.
Pretty important part of being in this room.
And was stuck in a bed for 6 months.
Wow. Brings back so many memories.
This is the first time she's been back.
Prior to 1992, I was the Director of Administration for the town of Parry Sound. I loved my career. I always thought that was my destiny in life.
Unfortunately for Millie, that was not the case. The stroke had left her with her entire left side paralyzed.
My stroke was diagnosed as a clot, when in actual fact it was a bleed. As a clot, they were giving me blood thinners. And so for close to a month, I lay in a bed with blood thinners being fed into my body when my brain was bleeding. And so that ended up being one of the main causes why I'm so densely paralyzed. Coming down to West Park Hospital in Toronto was an extremely traumatic experience. It was hugely lonely, and it was traumatizing really, because I was coming 150 miles away from my home and my friends and all that I knew. But I also had the sense to know that it was probably the only place that I could come that I could regain back my life, and I basically had to learn to walk again. I had a lot of speech therapy, physio and occupational therapy, all of those things that were required for me to get back into a kind of a... At that point I didn't know if I'd ever have a normal life again. It was really a big question mark. When I went down for my first interview with Chantel Mallow, and she asked me what my goal was for therapy for the period I'd be here at West Park, obviously I didn't have any goals because I didn't know what to even expect at that point.
Right.
And then I said, well, my daughter's getting married on October the 3rd, and my goal is to walk down the aisle. That team was absolutely critical. Without their expertise and professionalism, I don't know if I would have walked again. You stood here and you didn't know if you'd ever walk again. It was grueling, hard work. I can remember standing in front of the parallel bars, looking down 20 feet of parallel bars, and it might as well have been 1,000 miles. The day that I stood alone, everybody in the room cheered. All the patients and staff that were in here, that was like a big party. So emotional, so emotional. I have never been back here.
After Millie was released, she found it difficult to continue on with her way of life.
In those beginning years, I used a motorized scooter a lot. And one day, my husband wanted me to take the scooter downtown in Parry Sound, and I refused. I wasn't going to be any part of any scooter club of Parry Sound. I envisioned myself going down the main street with a pink flag and a red helmet, and I wasn't ready to do that. So he took me over to Huntsville with my scooter and let me loose in the shopping mall. I came through the door, and there was a Heart and Stroke Foundation display in the center. That Barrie chapter was